Welcome to the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, where we bring you a weekly dose of powerlifting news, tips, and training advice with a touch of 80s rock ballads. This podcast is presented by Team Roar Powerlifting, your source of the most comprehensive coaching and meet day preparation. Here are your hosts, Josh Rohr and Laura Sturm.
All right, welcome to the Presidential Candidate Series. I am here with John Dalessio. John, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I guess we'll start off. We'll kind of get straight to the point here. Who are you? What inspired you to run for USA Powerlifting president? And I guess what unique qualifications and experiences do you feel you have that makes you the ideal candidate for the role?
All right, so we'll start off. Name is John Dalessio, of course. I'm from New Jersey. Been a USA Powerlifting member since 1996, and became a lifter, referee, then eventually a meet director and state chair. So 2016, I took over from Bill Clayton, who retired after, I think, 20 plus years of being the state chair, and slowly started to build a community here in New Jersey. We went from one meet, which was run by Rob Keller. And once I got rolling, stepped it up to 6 meets a year, grew my team, staff, referees, and membership went from 200 to, I think our high point in 2023 of 1279 or something like that. So it was a long road. You know, we went from nothing. I had nothing. I tried to get meet directors to help us out. I couldn't get anybody to volunteer. So I stepped up, started running meets, and that's how what passion just grew over the years. And say 2019 had some issues with the EC and the way USA Powerlifting was being run. So at that time it was either, make a change or just roll with it. Well, at that time, I just went with focusing on New Jersey and slowly got more frustrated, ran into, COVID at the time, got shut down. And then right after that, we had the IPF, situation. So it was like one thing after the other. So with my mindset is like, don't complain about something if you're not going to work on changing it. So where I'm at right now is I've been thinking about it. And so now it's time to jump in, throw my hat in the ring and try to make a change for the better for USA Powerlifting. So,
all right.
Go ahead.
No. I was going to move on to the next one. If you got more to add, go for it.
No, just as far as qualifications go, I am a small business owner. This is actually my first job interview in over 25 years. First job application in 25 years. So been running 2 businesses. So pretty much have a qualification within, marketing, finances, budgeting, sales, customer service, the whole 9 yards. So hopefully bring my success with that over to and share with USA Powerlifting. Of course, it's a nonprofit, which is a different story than just running your own business. So there's a lot more involved with that. But I have been learning, been reading, studying for the last year on nonprofits. So I have a lot of ideas and things that can help us out.
Awesome. All right. Can you speak briefly to Brother Bennett's philosophy on drug-free powerlifting and how you feel that philosophy fits in today's powerlifting world?
Sure. Of course, going back to 1982 when USAPL ADFPA was founded, Brother Bennett, his main mission was drug-free powerlifting and volunteerism and growing the sport of powerlifting. So today we still need to continue that. And I see we need to step up our mission, which is originally for USA Powerlifting, is promote drug-free powerlifting as an amateur sport. And I think we really dropped the ball lately on educating people on anti-doping. We run great drug-free or drug-tested meets. So we need to step up our education on anti-doping, the positive and fair play. Need to focus on our mission of promoting drug-free amateur sport. Now, if you look at our mission statement that was on our 990, it said to promote amateur drug-free powerlifting locally, nationally, and internationally. Well, I don't know when it was changed, but if you go to our website and look at our mission statement, there's a little sentence in there now that promotes professional and monetary awards for powerlifting. So I don't know if that still fits our current mission statement, but I think we need to stick to our original mission statement. Yes, we can expand and grow as we grow as a federation and want to hit different areas, but I think we really need to focus on volunteerism and anti-doping and bring that back. Because I still have in the gym, it's I don't know if it's epidemic right now, but I have so many high school kids wanting to know how to get on gear. Like they see, I don't know if it's Instagram, they see their buddies and what could happen when they're on gear, et cetera.
So we test at 10% at all meets right now. Do you think that should remain, or is there an alternative that you'd like to see?
I think 10% is good. Again, we got to look at the cost factor and the budget on that, because drug testing is expensive and it limits to how much we could actually do. I mean, I'm doing a lot of research in the last 6 months just on anti-doping, going through the WADA, CCES, PWC, and all the other for-profit third-party testing companies out there that other sports use. And the main limiting factor for drug testing is money. You know, it's all run by money, and that's the name. So if you look at all the other, well, just say IPF and Powerlifting America, is there intention to really drug test and keep it drug free, or just test those athletes that go to the international platform to prevent fines and being embarrassed? You know, so what's the real motivation for other federations to drug test?
Right. All right. What do you see as the biggest challenges facing USA Powerlifting today, and how would you address them if elected?
I think a growth mindset to get out there. I mean, the fitness industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and I think there was over 26 million memberships sold last year. And how many members do we have? 30,000. So I think we need to go out there and collaborate with other gyms, big box stores, as you would say, because a lot of people don't even know about the sport yet. So better marketing, better planning, set strategic goals, and a plan on how to get there. I really think we need to broaden our view of who we can and get the message out there too.
Okay. So it's kind of following up on that. How do you plan to grow the sport and improve the experience for both new and veteran lifters at all levels, from the local level all the way up through international?
Well, I think we need to focus more on the younger lifters, which is what I've started in New Jersey in the last 2 years. Came up with our own high school state championship, trying to work our way into. It's very hard to get into these high schools where they have so many other varsity sports. Powerlifting seems to be on the bottom level on that. So we need to break into the high school level, promote our sport that way, grow it from the bottom up, and reach out, like I said, to other main players in the fitness industry, big box stores, get us into those, Planet Fitnesses, retro fitness, 24-hour places, the big clubs, because you still go in there, people have no idea what powerlifting is. So we've got to expand a niche sport and broaden our horizons on that.
So go ahead.
No, as far as experience goes, one thing we do is we run great, consistent meets. Our production level's up there, so we got to continue at what we're great at, and we're great at running high production value meets. So just continue what we're doing.
Okay. So USA Powerlifting has also faced various controversies, challenges, and policy changes over the years. How would you address those items?
As far as communication or transparency, how decisions are made.
whatever comes to mind, all of it or none of it, whatever you feel is relevant.
Yeah, well, I had a lot of controversies going back 2019. I'm not sure if you were on the EC back then. I think you were.
Yeah.
Certain situations with certain lifters, and actually me being called up by an EC member, trying to bully me into giving somebody a sanction when they shouldn't have gotten a sanction. Ended up going to a different state, getting a sanction, and my hindsight was correct. It turned out to be a total disaster. And so I mean, it's just like we need to treat people more fairly and communicate and actually acknowledge their emails when we send them emails. I just had one recently with something that happened, and I'm still waiting for a response. And that was 3 months ago. 2 emails, no response. So we really got to step up our communication, our transparency, work as a team, have a board that's all on the same page that works together and is working towards a mission. We need a leader that, could set goals and strategies and how to get there. It just seems like we haven't had that in years. I have a lot of issues, but I'll talk about that at a later date when I start campaigning.
Oh man.
Don't want to go into too many specifics now, but I mean, there was one girl, that was pretty deeply involved and was given whatever she wanted. I worked at bringing up the state of Delaware when there was no presence there at all. I worked down there for 3 years, and they got ruined within a month because somebody decided to believe somebody else. And we know where that went with the whole faking cancer and donations and everything. And I got pretty much brushed aside. I felt like a piece of crap. That no one listened to me, no one believed me. Then after it all happened, no one even acknowledged that I was right, except for one person that apologized, Joanne Craig, and that was it. So I mean, I got cease and desist letters from attorneys, and nobody was there to support me at all. And I was like, this is the organization of federation I'm passionate about and I want to grow, and I get absolutely zero support. So I mean, we definitely have to change a lot of things, and yeah, I got a lot more to say in the future.
So using that situation, I guess, how would you, if you were president during that whole situation, somebody else was in your shoes as the state chair, like how would you have approached that differently?
Well, it's pretty much easy. It wasn't hard to figure out that the person was lying, faking. You got to vet people. It's real easy to figure out what's going on today with the internet. It's easy to Google search and do your background checks and everything else, and I had all the proof right there. Nobody wanted to listen to me because I have reasons. I know reasons why it happened. But that person is no longer here, part of USA Powerlifting. So, I mean, you have to do your research. You have to talk to people. Nobody even reached out and talked to me. I filed a complaint, and I was told to back off, that she did nothing wrong. And nobody even communicated with me. The only person I had communication with was Joanne Craig, and she wasn't even on the EC. And she was the state chair for Pennsylvania. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that can be done differently. But just the fact that there's no one reached out to me, there was no communication, zero. So things like that have to change. Even now, I had a situation in the beginning of the year that I denied a sanction and it was overturned. And I asked why. There's still no communication, no returned emails, nothing. So, I mean, stuff like that. It's just very frustrating and annoying. And it's one reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now, is to make a change.
Gotcha. Okay. And if you feel like you want to go into more depth on any of that behind the scenes stuff, like this would be fun. You're like, nope, move it on, keep it moving.
Well, I mean, I spent so much work. I mean, Delaware for me is like a 2.5-hour ride. There was no presence at all in Delaware. There was no state chair, no meets, no nothing. So I asked Larry if I could go down there and start things up. He said, sure, go on down there. So I gave a commitment of 3 to 5 years. So for 3 years, I went down there, got a state chair, got a few referees. I was running 2 or 3 meets a year. And then this girl comes out of Pennsylvania out of nowhere with all these claim to fame of being a coach for 10 years, being on the bench press team as a national champion, setting world records. And everybody bowed down to her feet and let her do whatever she wanted. Next thing I know it, Elliot Feldman kicks out my state chair and puts her in without even talking to me, without even asking if we needed a state chair at that time. And totally ruined the whole thing. She started running meets, people stopped lifting, and we know what happened after that. She was finally off running claims of cancer, and, she got arrested and everything was false, and putting sanctions in for meets to run in parking lots in Philadelphia in December, in the middle of winter. I mean, it was just on and on and on. And I'm the only one that stood up with Steve Mann to protest this whole thing and pretty much put an end to her. But it should have taken that much effort how many USAPL people lost money giving to her donations and entry fees to meets that never happened. I mean, that was just a total disaster. And it's still, there was no apology or you were right or sorry that happened, nothing. So, I mean, a lot of it had to do with Elliot, I think. Pretty sure it did. The conversations I had with him. So anyway.
Okay. All right. So if you are elected in June, what would success look like at the end of your term? I guess what key accomplishments and things like that do you hope to achieve?
All right. So at the end of my term, I would like the EC or board of directors that are all on the same page. We have a strategic plan, goals set, healthy membership. We run great meets, and we are still the #1 powerlifting community in the nation and internationally.
Cool. Straight to the point.
That's it.
I like it. All right. So I got some pop quiz hypotheticals for you here.
Okay.
All right. So hypothetically, if you're competing at the IDFPA Worlds in December, you're in third place and your third deadlift would move you into first place. What song are you listening to?
Oh, it's got to be Thunderstruck.
Thunderstruck. All right.
It
The
was-
podcast has a music component to it, so we had to throw something
Yeah.
in there
Well,
about
back
music.
80s rock and roll,
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
You got to stick with that,
Yep,
It's always a
100%.
battle it's always a battle that meets these days of what music we play,
Yeah.
We keep
Well, there's only one right answer. It's 80s rock. I mean,
yeah.
everybody else is just wrong.
Yeah. True.
All right. So I guess anything that we talked about so far, but I guess in your own words, like sell me on John Dalessio as president. Like why should the members vote for you?
First of all, I have a passion about powerlifting. Been a member for basically 30 years, and I started from nothing, knew nothing about the sport. I was weak as hell. It took me a while to grind through. So I know what it's like to start from the bottom and work up. I worked through having no presence in New Jersey to creating a pretty strong community here. I can relate to people. Pretty good leader. Learned that in the Coast Guard. Veteran. I own 2 businesses, so I have experience with businesses. I know how to grow. I know how to make tough decisions, especially, when times are tough financially and things are slow. So pretty good at background experience in business. Like I said, I'm learning a lot about the nonprofit side. Been studying a lot on that for the last year and how all that works, because that's a whole different beast. I could work with people. I could motivate people. I have a pretty good vision of where I want to go and where I want to take USA Powerlifting. And still want to keep to our mission, strong emphasis on anti-doping and educating younger lifters on fair play and competitiveness, of course, in powerlifting, and setting an example for all the other federations.
And so I have a couple of follow-up questions. You
Sure.
talked about getting it, like partnering with local gyms and also trying to get in with high school. You said that was pretty difficult.
Sure.
Do you have any ideas on how to approach those?
So I've already been doing that for a while here in New Jersey, where I just go out, walk into gyms, and introduce myself, tell people what powerlifting is. And I actually have a PowerPoint presentation. I've already done this a couple of times, where we schedule times to give a little seminar on the sport of powerlifting and who USA Powerlifting is and what we have available for their athletes. Usually takes about a half hour, 40 minutes, and we usually get, 12 to 15 people. So once you plant that seed, someone does a meet, they're all obviously going to share it with their friends because they're going to be hooked and excited. And it just starts a train going. And high schools is tough. I've got into mostly private schools, and that's growing pretty good. But most of the public high schools here, the main emphasis, of course, is all on the sports where they get scholarships. So you're talking about all the field sports, hockey, basketball. Those are their main functions. So if you slowly chip away, at the high schools, will eventually make an impact in New Jersey. I know it's big in other states across the country, but right now in New Jersey, high school powerlifting is very small.
Yeah, I know it's huge in some. In other states, it's like non-existent, or just or it makes football players slow, so it's just frowned upon across the board.
Yeah. I mean, the whole point is you have to go out and do it the old-fashioned way. You go out and introduce you to somebody, face-to-face, handshake, and talk to them one-on-one. There's only so much you could see from a picture on Instagram, or TikTok or something like that. You actually have to go out there and see somebody the old-fashioned way. So that's been working pretty well. Which actually I have a quarterly master mindset meeting with all my meet directors, and we go over these different ways and how to promote and fill up the rosters. And one way is I'm teaching them how to go out there and actually do that themselves. So
you said you meet with all your meet directors quarterly? Is that what
yeah,
you
we
just
started
said?
that. We started that this year, a mastermind group. So we have 6 of us that to get together once every quarter at my place for a couple hours. We eat, we just talk about meets that are coming up. I share my experiences and my knowledge and mentor them on how to run great meets. So we got to the point where lifters will go to a meet in New Jersey and they're not sure who the meet director is because they're all run the same way. They're all produced the same way. And I have people come up and say, thanks for a great meet. And I'm like, it's not my meet. It was Carl's, or it was, Maku's or somebody else's meet. So that's the level I wanted to get us at. So we're consistent across the board. There's nothing worse than going to a crappy meet and then you lose your desire to lift. You go to another federation. So if we're all on the same page, run the same stuff, we're better off. So yeah, so it's something new I started this year, and they all love it. So we'll definitely continue that. And actually, maybe even go to the Zoom type meeting, invite other meet directors across the country if they want to join us for a live Zoom while we have the meeting.
Cool. I like it. All right. So if people have questions about they want to learn more about you, can they reach out to you directly with questions?
Absolutely.
If so, how would they contact you? Do you have any like online presence or email, or what's the best option for people to get in touch?
I'm on Instagram, Father Iron _83 kg, I think. I keep changing weight classes between weightlifting and powerlifting. So that's what the thing. And Instagram, I'm on Facebook, email DalessioJP@gmail.com. They can call me. All my information is out there. They can look me up on the USAPL website under state chairs. All my contact information is there too.
Yeah, cool. All right. I think that's all I have. Is there anything else you want to add to make your case?
I think that's pretty good. Like I said, I'll be coming out with more stuff so I'm also coming out with a podcast. So I'm working on these episodes right now and start release them hopefully in 2 weeks. So it's going to be a series of podcasts. The first one is going to be what happened to powerlifting. So we're basically going to go back to the beginning, to the 60s, and work our way up to how we got to where we are today. Second one is going to be on anti-doping, all the behind scenes that people don't know. We're going to follow the money trail. And then after that, we're going to go comparison between Powerlifting America and USAPL, and then IDFPA and IPF, and then the IOC Dream. So I have a bunch of episodes lined up.
So what's the title of it again?
Well, it's going to be John Dalessio podcast, aka Father Iron, but there's all different episodes already lined up.
So that's how people will search for it, as John Dalessio. If they just search
I should
John
have
Dalessio,
it up on YouTube in about 2 weeks. You just search my name, it should pop up.
Okay, awesome.
So, yeah, it's
good.
been a lot of work, that's for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of research, and the most amazing thing is how much money is involved with anti-doping and how the money controls everything. So I actually had a meeting with USADA last September. I run USAW meets too. So I was trying to figure out what it would cost for them to come out and cover one of my meets. So it is very expensive. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Well, over $10,000 for 2 tests for your first meet.
For 2 tests.
Yes. So like we have our drug testing system is probably the most efficient around. Absolutely. And people claim that the whole thing with third-party testing is to limit corruption, honesty, integrity, all that kind of stuff. But hey, guess what? People could be bought out at any level. It doesn't have to be third party. It could be anywhere, anybody, anytime. Every industry in the world someone's always getting bought off. So that whole theory can be thrown out. And I'll go over that all that stuff in the podcast. But it's amazing.
Yeah, I'd be interested to listen to that. That sounds interesting. So cool. Good. All right, John. Well, I appreciate your time. And I definitely appreciate your service to USA Powerlifting and everything. And
Thanks,
best of luck in June.
Thank you, sir. Have a good weekend and safe travels, bud.
All right, appreciate it.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode of the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, please remember to subscribe and share it with your friends.